Hey, what's up guys, Darkbreaker here, and in today's video we are gonna discuss the new patch notes. Patch 3.0a is coming out, so we're gonna read through and I'm gonna try to give you my in-depth thoughts about how those changes are gonna affect the meta, and yeah, if the patch is good, what they should have added, etc. So let's get started. Last time we spoke, a boss brawler was just about to make his debut, and since he's joined, Seth has been beating up the Rift. He's been a dominant force in the Baron lane and jungle, giving the other fighters a run for the money. Seth's flashy punches and show-stopping performances against his foes have inspired even us to turn up the heat this patch. My god, how can they say this? We've got several champion nerfs, some minor buffs, a few gameplay changes, and the release of 2 Fury new skins. Reminder content will be released throughout the patch. Okay. Releasing in... Oh, okay, when the patch is coming out 1 week later on... Wait! It's February 24, 2 new skins, Infernal Cannon and Dragon Slayer Olaf. That's Dragon Slayer Olaf? Okay. And this patch is mostly just a balance change patch. The devs had a break for Lunar New Year, so this one is going to be small. Hopefully the next one is going to be bigger. 3.0b and 3.1. But honestly, it would be crazy that, like, if 3.0b is not going to be a slightly bigger patch with some changes, then the last big patch is December, and since then, and then 3.1 is end of March. It would be crazy for them for just doing like small patches the whole time. I don't know. I already discussed with you guys yeah, what they should have done or what they should have added in the matchmaking video I've made. Maybe you guys can check it out. I've discussed the problems of matchmaking and some other issues, and maybe some solutions and some feedback that they can listen or should add. Anyways, let's get started with champion changes. Amumu is getting a buff. His bandage toss is getting a range increase from 8.5 to 9. I don't think it's gonna help him too much. He's still weak. I mean, his jungle clear is not that great, and his teamfight potential. They even nerfed his team fighting or with the ultimate nerf. He's just not in a good place, and just buffing his first ability is not enough. What they could do is, like, he needs to be more tanky while he has more utility, I guess. Buff his base stats so he's more tanky, and then make his ultimate better. But the issue about the ultimate is he's literally just an ultimate pony. Without ultimate he's useless, but it's similar to Malphite, but even Malphite without the ultimate is still decent, but Amumu without ultimate is completely useless. Okay, Camille is getting nerfed. Oh, no, no, no. Camille has been a bit too strong in high level play, so we are going to pull back on some of the damage and utility she gets to bring her life in line with her fellow fighters. The second ability is getting nerfed. The outer comb bonus damage is getting reduced by 2% at every level. This is a big nerf for the... I mean, obviously for the early game, for the harassment that she does in the early game, that's gonna be a nerf, but also there are some people that like to max second ability in the jungle, because it's very easy for her to secure objectives like Dragon or Herald using the second ability in combination with the smite. So this is a decent jungle nerf as well. I don't know how much it's gonna, like 2% of targets max HP. I mean, in the early game, it's mostly just the base damage that's gonna matter. And usually I max the first ability and then the third ability. But I think it's definitely gonna be enough in the jungle where you can notice the max percent HP more. For the ultimate, they removed the base damage 100, 150, 200 at each rank and gave her a buff on the target's current health. So instead of, for example, level 1 you do 100 base damage plus 10% of target's current health, you do 15% now. But overall that should be enough, unless you're using the ultimate on a huge HP target like Mundo who's full life, then yes, the ultimates can do more damage. But that's definitely a nerf on the ultimate part, in terms of damage. And then the zone duration, they reduced it slightly in the early game from 2.5 to 2 and 3.25 to 3. I think this one is not gonna matter too much. Like those 0.5 seconds are not gonna matter too much. I think she's still gonna be very strong. Her utility is still good. They didn't touch her first ability at all or her third ability. And the second ability is obviously in the early game just for poke, level 1 to 5. But then afterwards, the second ability is really, really not that important. And you mostly use the second ability for the slow effect, which is huge when you hit the second ability with the outer edge, or outer cone, how you want to call it. But main damage is first ability and the first ability true damage. They didn't touch this one. Utility wise, ultimate slight nerf, slight damage nerf, but usually you never use the ultimate for the damage and more like for the utility. And I think she's still gonna be S tier both in jungle and top lane. Okay, next one. Hey, don't ask me why, but while we may disagree with him that it's all about Draven all the time, we can agree that he has been underperforming compared to other marksmen in the Dragon. That's not true. That's not true. That's like they are just looking at the average win rate, and I guess the pick rate, because Draven is one of those champions that isn't mechanically easy, so it's easy for him to have a bad win rate on average. But good Draven players in high elo are snowballing for free, and buffing Draven is definitely a mistake. Draven is already very strong in the right hands, and they just want to make him more easy to play for people that have a bad win rate. But in general, those people that are Draven mains, they are performing really well. And I think Draven is super, super strong in solo queue. And now buffing him on top of that, buffing the ultimate, I don't think that's a good idea. Bonus AD ratio, 110% to 130. It's not a huge buff, but he does need the buff, and he's already super strong. I mean, he's S tier for sure, S tier or something. Gragas, since recent nerfs, Gragas has been struggling to find his place in the jungle, so we are increasing his clear speed. We hope this... His clear speed? We hope this change allows him to have more opportunities to slam into his teammates' lanes and give them an assist. What? Why are they talking about clear speed when they're buffing the armor that he's getting? How is it clear speed? I'm just gonna say it makes support Gragas and hybrid or tank Gragas in the top lane better. Like, I think it's a solid buff. Like 6 armor, 6 armor in the early game is gonna make him definitely much stronger. So tank Gragas in the top lane could become much more stronger, or hybrid Gragas, where you go Road of Age, and go for full tanky items like Sunfire, Abyssal Mask, Iceborne Gauntlet, and then maybe a Death Cap or Void Staff. So hybrid build Gragas could be really... I think hybrid Gragas is decent. Tank Gragas, not sure. I think he can fit in the meta. It's not bad. I mean, Gragas is in a decent position. He doesn't need any buffs or nerfs. And buffing him right now, you guys know how long he was in meta and super strong. And I still think he's overall really solid, that he doesn't need a buff. Like, you guys think 6 armor is like whatever, but 6 armor in the early game, it's gonna make him much, much stronger in the laning phase for support Gragas and top lane Gragas. Jace is receiving a nerf. Jace has been dominating the Baron lane with his high burst damage, strong mobility, and his ability to make safe trades in his range form. We are toning down Jace's early game power to give his opponents a fighting chance during the laning phase. They are nerfing the base attack damage from 58 to 52. I'm just gonna say, this is gonna nerf his early game a lot, but also Sterak's Gauge. People that run Sterak's Gauge, this is a big nerf because they are basically reducing the amount of AD you can get from Sterak's Gauge. But obviously 6 AD in the early game is a lot. Like, his early dominance in the laning phase is not going to be as strong, and his jungle clear speed is going to be much worse with minus 6 AD. This is a lot for jungle Jace. Right now, S plus tier in top, mid, and jungle. I think this is going to hurt him a lot, actually. Hex tech, capacitor, movement speed is getting reduced by 10, so his kiting ability when he's switching forms is going to be worse. And the first ability, acceleration gate bonus damage 50% to 40%. So they reverted the buffs they did. I don't know what the base damage was before this. They buffed the base damage. But I think the number was lower. Wait, let me check really quick if I can find it. I think it's overall a net flat nerf compared to the buff previous form. Like, you know, in the patch where he got buffed, they increased the base attack damage. And at that point, I already thought he's like a solid S tier. So I just wanna check the patch notes where he got buffed. Okay, guys, patch notes 18. No, it was longer time ago. Wait, Jace. Nope, it wasn't in this one, so it was even further ago. It was in December. Okay, where's Jace? Huh? 2.6a? Or was it even before this? Oh, it looks like it was even before this one. 2.6 then. Wait, let me check 2.6. Yeah, I just want to double check about his numbers to make sure. If it's just a reverse of the buffs, or they just nerfed him completely down. Where's the patch notes? 2.6 then. Jace. He's so long broken since 2.6? Oh no, it wasn't base AD. They buffed the AD per level from 3.6 to 4.55. And now they're just nerfing his base attack damage. But that's a lot, actually. 115. That's, I mean, 6 is a lot. They reverted the acceleration damage. Yeah. The first ability, acceleration damage, it's exactly before 2.6. But they didn't touch the first ability or the second ability, which they buffed. They nerfed the passive. They increased the armor back then, and they are not taking it back. But base attack damage is going to be huge, so I think he's not going to be S plus tier anymore in those lanes. Baron lane, that's a huge nerf. Jungle as well. I think in the mid lane he's still going to be the strongest, I guess. So, S tier, jungle. Mid lane S tier, jungle. I mean, top lane S tier, mid lane S tier, and jungle. Maybe he's still S tier. We need to see. Maybe S minus or something. Like 6 is pretty big. So we have to test how his jungle clear is going to be affected. Anyways, Katarina. As it stands, our favorite Noxian assassin has been struggling to assassinate and keep up with other mid laners for some time. We are giving Katarina's ultimate a little boost to help her make more impact in teamfights and skirmishes. That's a mistake. They buffed the AP ratio from the ultimate by 20%. That's a mistake. Katarina is one of the most broken solo queue champions, and she gets one reset, she wipes the entire team. She can be 3-5, 3-7, 0-4. She gets one good reset, she wipes the entire team. That's such a bad mistake. Katarina in solo queue is already very, very strong, and Katarina OTPs, they just need one opportunity, one mistake where they get the reset, and everyone is dead. This is a fucking mistake. She's not S+, but she's a very, very solid S tier already. She doesn't or didn't need a buff at all. Lee Sin's mobility has been a common complaint from frustrated foes. We're increasing Safeguard's cooldown to reduce how quickly Lee Sin can hop around the map. Cooldown increased from 15 seconds to 70 seconds. Decent nerf. It's not gonna matter too much. Like, his damage output is just crazy when he gets going. But yeah, it's definitely a decent nerf. Is it a big nerf? No, not at all. Is it a okay nerf on Lee Sin? Yeah, it is okay nerf. But considering that Lee Sin was S plus tier for so long, this nerf is not gonna make him not being S tier, S plus tier. He's still gonna be one of the best junglers. Morgana, last patch we said we would be keeping an eye on the Sinister Sister. Who wrote this? And since then, Morgana has been terrorizing opponents in the mid lane with her reliable utility and damage. We are toning down her wave clear and damage on her ultimate, while increasing her durability so she can still torment her enemies in the dragon lane. So basically they want her to be strong in the APC or as an APC, but weaker in the mid lane. They increase the armor by 5. It's gonna help her out against other ADCs in the lane. They are reducing the damage on the second ability by 2 at each rank. It's decent nerf. It's gonna make her wave clear a lot weaker. And on the ultimate, the AP ratio, 2% of target's maximum health per 100 AP, reduced by 0.5. Slight nerf. It's not gonna matter too much. The issue is definitely the crowd control that she has on the first ability. If she lands a binding, you have a problem. And especially her poke damage is still gonna hurt a lot. I think it's gonna hurt a little bit, but not too much. Now this one is interesting. Set is getting a nerf. Normally I would say you all should sit down and brace yourself for this one, but I think most of you will be standing and cheering for this next change. We know that Set has been a dominating force in the Baron lane and jungle, especially in the early game since its release. We are reducing some of his early game power so he can still be a boss, just a boss who's more in line with his fellow sparring partners on the Rift. The base stats are getting reduced attack damage from 58 to 52. That's a big nerf. Every time you see a champion getting base stats reduced or nerfed, this is a huge nerf. And 6 AD in the early game, that's a lot. That's more than 10% nerf. Base bonus attack speed from 20% to 10%. Also, big nerf. And attack speed per level from 2.2% to 1.7. Whew. 0.5 times 15, that's definitely a decent nerf. I think this is gonna hurt him so much in the jungle. Every time you see attack damage getting nerfed, this is gonna affect his early game a shit ton and the jungle clear speed. And on top of that, the passive right punch bonus physical damage from 6 times level to 5 times level. And this is definitely also a decent nerf onto Set's passive. And on top of that, they nerfed Jungle Set, that the bonus damage against monsters on the first ability is getting reduced from 200 to 100. So a very solid nerf on Set. I think Set was so strong in jungle and top lane. I had them both like S tier for Set in the jungle and S plus tier in the top lane. And I have to see how this is going to affect him. They did nerf the second ability. They did nerf the third ability. Third ability, crowd control, insane. The stun duration, ooh, very annoying. And the range is definitely pretty good. And second ability didn't get a nerf. But overall, I guess his Bruiser Brawler playstyle is getting a nerf, and playing him more as a tank is probably going to be better. Because right now he does way too much damage for being a super tank. Overall his utility and his kit is still very good, like Proto Belt, third ability. Definitely check out the video I've made on him recently. Set with Proto Belt and the new build, Set super fucking strong in my opinion. And I think he's still gonna be S tier in the top lane and in the jungle, maybe A plus tier or A tier. This is definitely a nerf that is gonna hurt him. That's a solid nerf. And Vayne has been dominating in high level play recently. We're cutting back on some of her sustain to give her opponents some room to punish her during the laning phase. Silver Bolts, active healing, 60% of damage dealt to 40% of damage dealt. This is definitely a solid nerf on the first ability, and the cooldown is also getting increased by 2 at each rank. I wish they would have nerfed the second ability more, tune down the attack speed and the true damage, and maybe the ultimate, because Vayne, in my opinion, is S plus tier in solo queue. She is super strong, the most annoying ADC, for me at least, to play against. When a Vayne gets going, she 1 vs 9s, and if she has a Lulu, if she has a Lulu and she starts 4-0 or something in the early game, she is almost unstoppable, especially if you are very good on Vayne, know how to position yourself correctly, know how to condemn correctly, and use the tumble and invisibility coming from the ultimate correctly. She is one of the hardest ADCs to deal with, and she is one of the best tank killers on top of that. So I think it's a decent nerf, but I wish they would have nerfed Vayne more. Especially, I don't really care about the first ability too much. I think the active cooldown nerf is nice. But I wish second ability and ultimate movement speed. In the ultimate, it's movement speed. On the second ability, it's the attack speed and the true damage. Those are the issues, in my opinion, on Vayne. Anyways, let's get started with the gameplay changes. Items: Archangel Staff, Seraph Embrace is getting a nerf. Wow, it's a nerf. Seraph's Embrace is currently the premier item of choice for enchanters and mages. We want to bring Seraphs back in line with other item choices. So we are taking away some of the ability haste it provides while also reducing some of its shielding power. Reducing the ability haste by 5 for both Archangel and Seraphs. And the lifeline shield value, 50% of current mana plus 150 to plus 100, so a 50 base nerf on the shield value. Honestly, it's not a big nerf. It's a slight nerf. A slight nerf might hurt a little bit, but not too much in my opinion. Okay, now Serrated Dirk is getting a nerf. We are adjusting Serrated Dirk so that it provides less armor penetration in the early game, while buffing the armor penetration provided by the items that Serratic builds into. We believe this change will help differentiate between the offensive armor penetration items like Humus, Ghostblade, and defensive options like Edge of Night. Because a lot of junglers are just buying Serrated Dirk. Or Jace, for example, they just buy Serrated Dirk just because of the gold value. It's just so amazing to buy it and then go for another item and then finish Serrated. So they are nerfing it. Serrated Dirk getting nerf, armor penetration from 10 to 8, Edge of Night from 10 to 8, Humus Ghostblade getting a buff though from 10 to 12, and Umbral Glaive from 10 to 12. So basically they're buffing Humus Ghostblade and nerfing Edge of Night. And they are nerfing the Serrated Dirk rush. Because so many, like, Lee Sin players, they would just rush Serrated Dirk, maybe go for Trinity, or get Serrated and Edge of Night, or something like that. And now, rune changes. This one is big. This one is big, by the way. Inspiration Mastermind. Mastermind is currently granting too much economic value to junglers, while also improving their clear speeds. We are toning down the gold bonus that it provides when destroying objectives. Gold bonus on objective kill from 120 to 40. This is a huge change. Because the meta right now is all about those 1 vs 9 hyper carry junglers that get Herald, get the top turret, they farm up super well. Hyper carry playstyle Jax, Graves, and Lee Sin, etc. This is gonna be a huge change. So we'll see if this playstyle is still good, where you just sacrifice the dragon to get Herald and the top turret, and you get so much gold by having Mastermind. Like, your top lane have Mastermind, you have Mastermind, so both of you are getting so much gold from Herald and the turret. And usually it would be a much better trade than just going for Mountain or Ocean or something like that. So this will change not only solo queue, but especially high elo and competitive. Because that's gonna be a big change. So now the question will be, hey, is it worth to go for the Herald top turret trade and give up the dragon? Depends. I mean, before you could just hyper farm, get so much gold using Mastermind. This is definitely... Like before this, every single top laner, a lot of split pushing top laners would run Mastermind, but right now, after this, I would say everyone should run Sweet Tooth. This is gonna be big nerf. I would still, every single time, I would just run Sweet Tooth. Because I know some pro players like Random from Rix, they love to go Mastermind on Set, Camille, Fiora, getting that extra split pushing gold, getting that's how they reach the 1k GPM, 1000 gold per minute, by having Mastermind, farming up objectives, farming up those plates from the turrets, getting extra gold from the Mastermind. This is definitely gonna hurt pro players. I think this is probably the biggest change they did in this entire patch. This is the biggest change that's gonna affect the meta. Like all those changes here, sure. Set nerf, that's you don't see him pro play any. We don't even know how his pro play value is right now because he's perma banned. And also Jay's nerf, that's gonna be probably affecting a lot because right now he's like a huge prio perma pick, like either first pick or ban. Camille, this is gonna hurt. I think it's gonna hurt a little bit, but not too much. I think it's not gonna be too much. And besides that, summoner spells. Barrier is getting a nerf. The base stats are getting a slight nerf, and the amount per level. Who's running Barrier even? I guess ADCs. I'm not running Barrier in the top lane. Except for Darius. But usually I always run Ignite, so after this change I would say majority of top laners are gonna go for the Ignite anyways. For ADCs, I think, yeah, it's gonna be a nerf, but 50 nerf in the late game. 75 plus 25. It's decent nerf, actually. Actually, I mean, it's small nerf, honestly. Not that big. It's honestly not that big. Decent nerf. Yeah, it's just 50 nerf, right? Yeah, it's just 15 nerf. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, honestly, it doesn't matter. Never mind, doesn't matter. Never mind. But yeah. Humus Ghostblade is gonna be much more popular right now. Maybe Umbral Glaive. I think you just go Humus Ghostblade and Etcher and Mortal Reminder or Cyrilda. Should be enough armor penetration. So you don't go for the Sirata Dirk Rush anymore. Mastermind, this is gonna be a huge game changer. Mastermind. A lot of junglers are gonna be unhappy about this one. Because right now the meta is jungle hyper carry, and you have a top lane who's probably just weak side tank. This might change it. I mean, 80 gold per objective, it's a lot of gold. From 120 to 40, that's a huge nerf, just saying. But yeah, anyways, what's your opinion about the patch? I wish it would have been a big patch where they add like report system, like better report system, honor system being added. Like they already have it in China, so they could just copy it. What I would like to see is like social features that they have in China, like I don't know, profile pictures, etc. They have so many social features. They would make the game more enjoyable, not only for the casual player base, like socialize better, etc. I think that would make the game more popular if it had more social features. But it's not important. I'm not sure. I'm not saying it's important, but they could add it since they already have it. They already have it in China. Report system, honor system, dodge system, or remake system for AFK players. Matchmaking is the biggest issue right now. Hopefully, 3.0a comes 15 or 16. No, 16. You're watching this. It comes out 16. 16. So 2 weeks later would be like in the beginning of March, 3.0b. Hopefully this might be bigger, or it's just gonna be balance changes again. And then 3.1 is gonna be the bigger one. But if you think about it, the last big one was in the middle of December or early December. So it's been December to January, January to February, and February to March. 4 months for a big patch. I know the devs had holidays, had a break for Christmas, for I guess New Year's. and Lunar New Year's. I don't know. I don't know if it feels like they are not adding enough. I mean, yeah, obviously the devs deserve their holiday break, obviously, but I feel like it's still for 4 months the additions or the stuff they're adding is really small. I mean, that's my opinion. You guys can write it down below in the comments whether or not you guys agree, whether or not you guys like this patch. I think if I'm just talking about the balance changes and what they changed in total, I would say it's a good patch. I like the changes on those champions. What other champions I would have liked to seen? Fiora, Evelyn, wait, Kha'Zix, Lucian, Lee Sin, obviously. Wait, let me see my tier list. I just need to watch the tier list and then I know what's broken. Tier list, make. Let's see the champions I wish they would have nerfed, because they could have nerfed a bunch of other champions as well. Oh yeah, Yumi's getting added. Yeah. Tier list. Okay, let's see. I have Varus needs a nerf. Yes. Varus, Lucian, Diana, Zed, Fiora, Rakan, Nami, Thresh. Yeah, those are the champions that need a nerf and buff. I guess so many champions that need a buff, honestly. Rammus, Brand. Actually, Brand is fine. Rammus, Shyvana, Amumu. I mean, Amumu got enough, but it's irrelevant. Annie. Vega's in a fine state. Actually, Singed. Teemo. Nasus. They need a buff as well. I'm just checking. I don't know if they should. Nah, I guess Master Yi, but they. If they buff Master Yi, it's gonna end up being a troll. Tristana needs a buff. Jhin. Slight buff for Jhin. I think Jhin is fine. Maybe slight buff. No overkill buff. Just a slight buff. Slight buff. Otherwise, I think that's about it. I mean, a lot of champions are fine that they are balanced. They don't need a buff or nerf. Blitzcrank. Okay, Blitzcrank. But yeah, that's about it for the patch. Hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I hope you guys enjoyed the in-depth explanation of each champion, how this is gonna affect them in general for this game and the meta. I think the patch is good. I wish it was bigger, but overall the changes they made are good. And yeah, see you next time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tier list is gonna come out pretty soon. By the time you're watching this, a few hours later, the tier list is gonna come out, so definitely make sure to tune in for the tier list. And I see you next time. Bye bye.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.